I didn't come up with anything clever to say about the movie that we're talking about today, but I can just tell you what we're watching, and that is 1996's The Rock.
And now, our feature presentation.
Fussy, who hired this crew?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong.
Show me the money!
Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
Baby, you are so money and you don't even know it.
Yeah, I thought this was good.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
Welcome in, everybody, to 52/1996, a live movie conversation podcast where we take a look back 30 years into the past and talk about the films of 1996, one movie at a time. I am your host, Cody, and this week I am joined once again by my co-host, Ryan, as we break down The Rock. If this is your first time hanging out with us, welcome in. We're happy to have you here. You could be doing anything else with your Sunday, like watching League of Legends tournaments on Twitch right now, but you're here if you're watching this, all of you. That was the one thing that I saw when I opened up Twitch earlier. It was just in my ear, just a League of Legends tournament going. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you're here, you made the right choice. If you can believe it, this 1990s movie podcast is going to be less smelly than the League of Legends tournament.
So thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Our idea is pretty simple. Every week for 52 weeks, we watch a different movie released 30 years ago in 1996. We talk about lines, scenes, standout performances, maybe some fun trivia if it exists, and if it is still watchable today. And we are beginning a new theme for most of July. Obviously, it's not July. We're at the end of June here, but we're kicking things off. It's summer now, and our new theme is Make It a Blockbuster Night, spotlighting blockbuster movies that made a lot of money in the year 1996. But before we get into our movie, let's talk to Ryan about let's get some initial responses on The Rock. Ryan, this is not your first time watching The Rock, I'm sure.
This is my very first time watching The Rock.
No, it isn't.
I've never seen The Rock.
No, it isn't.
That's true. Yeah, I've never seen The Rock.
Wow.
I did until I watched it twice until my first viewing. I knew of The Rock. The Rock is extremely famous.
Right.
And definitely when I was talking to people in the week leading up to this podcast about watching The Rock for the podcast, a plethora of men in their 30s and 40s could not contain their excitement. I was bullied. I was cajoled. I was exalted. It felt like there was a phone tree going around. Did you hear Ryan's going to watch The Rock for the first time?
There's a prayer chain going around.
Yeah, men of a certain age were very happy for me. And so, I had expectations, and the movie was different than my expectations. I thought the movie was, I guess because of Escape from Alcatraz, I thought it was about a prison break.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of is. It's like a reverse prison break.
Yeah.
So this is my first time seeing, a movie that defined a generation of boys, and it's very interesting to see it now. Just a mere 10 days from turning 40 years old.
Wow, this is unprecedented. I don't.
Yeah, you're speechless.
I am. I don't know. I was like, yeah, surely that's why he wanted to do it so bad. It was that he's like. He loves The Rock.
No, I wanted to do it because it was a whole, you walk around. Here's the other thing. I'm just gonna get in a soapbox real quick for myself, my snobby self, is that I watch a lot of movies, and most of the movies I really get into, not most of them, a lot of them, nobody's ever heard of or will ever hear of. So then I walk around the world where my premier hobby, my number one hobby, is everybody's hobby, kind of, because almost everybody likes movies, and yet instead of talking the shit I want to talk about, they're like, oh, you like movies, let's talk about The Rock. And I go, haven't seen it. And then they want to call me a slur, but aren't allowed to anymore. And so I'm like, I'm gonna talk about The Rock. You know what? And I came in with a chip on my shoulder because I kind of wanted the friends of mine, the guys who were so excited to see it. I kind of wanted to take them down a notch. But the only spoiler I'll give about my review so far is that I came around. I'm a fan of The Rock.
I can't wait to talk about this. This is a Criterion movie.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
Okay with it.
honestly, I was surprised to learn that it was a Criterion movie.
I was offered by two different men to have them. They would drop off their Criterion disc at my house. And I watched at least one 18-minute YouTube video that I was told that I had to watch about The Rock.
Oh my gosh.
Mental material. So
you are the most knowledgeable Rock person.
yeah, I really am. I'm Uatu the Watcher. I'm the alien who's just landed. Show me the best of your culture, and I'm trying to understand it.
This is great. I can't wait. So let's talk more about this. Let's learn a little bit more before we get into the categories. So the movie that we watched was called The Rock, not to be confused with The Wrestler, that's a thing that I hate about this movie is that it is called The Rock. And if you put that into Google, that is not the first thing that comes up. And it pisses me off that I have to be like, did you mean the movie? No. Yes, of course.
Yeah. Especially since The Rock, the person, I don't know, his stocks have fallen pretty low in my opinion.
Yeah. He's got some good search engine optimization there where always he is The Rock. So
and every time I'm trying to book my second Jungle Cruise, I can't get to the website. It just keeps up The Rock.
Well, this movie came out in June, 30 years ago, June 7th to be exact. It is directed by Michael Bay. We've previously seen Michael Bay. He did Bad Boys for us in 1995. So this is his second time on the podcast.
A movie which I've never seen until the podcast.
Which is fine.
It's not really good.
It's not really, especially when you watch something like this and then you compare it. That's what I ended up doing after that. Because I loved The Rock when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And I went into it kind of like you did, ready to just tear this thing to shreds.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's going to be like Bad Boys. Bad Boys was cool when I was a kid, but now watching it, I'm like, that movie's not as good as people say it is. So, I was ready to tear it down too, but was pleasantly surprised and happy by the end of the movie. So this movie was written by tons of people, but the main screenwriters on this are David Weisberg, Douglas Cook, and Mark Rosner. This cast includes a ton of people and so many people that are not even listed as it being in this movie. But for our main people, we've got Sean Connery as John Mason, Nicolas Cage as Stanley Goodspeed, Ed Harris as Frank Hummel, David Morse as Major Tom Baxter, John Spencer as James Womack. We recognize him most from The West Wing. Rest in peace. William Forsythe as Ernest Paxton, Michael Biehn in here as Commander Charles Anderson, Vanessa Marcil in her screen debut as Carla Pestalozzi, Gregory Sporlater as Captain Fry, who is from Renaissance Man.
Yeah, he's Private Melvin.
Yeah, he's Private Melvin.
Of course, the best movie this podcast has ever covered.
I'm so glad that we come full circle on Renaissance. This is what he did after Renaissance Man.
Just to be the character Private Melvin, after he became, instead of a dumb, dopey, sweet soldier, he was fixed so well by Danny DeVito that he became an effective soldier, and then this is where he ended up.
Yeah, we got Candyman himself in here as Tony Todd as Captain Darrow, Dr. Cox. John C. McGinley in here, Captain Hendricks, Bokeem Woodbine as Sergeant Crisp, Danny Nucci here before he dies on the Titanic next year, spoiler, as Lieutenant Shepard. Claire Forlani is in here for 20 seconds as Jade, who is Mason's daughter. And then we have a bunch of other people that you've seen so many times in movies. We've got Stuart Wilson, Philip Baker Hall, Xander Berkeley, David Bowe, Willie Garson, Jim Caviezel, Jesus himself.
Wait, who's Jim Caviezel in this movie? I saw that he was in it.
He is one of the fighter pilots. He's actually the fighter pilot that accidentally bombs the island.
I think at that point in the movie, I stopped trying to figure out where Jim Caviezel was, so I
Yeah.
didn't notice. Yeah.
Anthony Clark, the comedian Lunel, is in here. She's very funny for the 5 seconds she's in the movie.
I love Luna. We almost saw
Yeah.
her a couple weeks ago in Vegas.
That's awesome. So if you didn't get a chance to watch this movie or don't know what it's about, FBI chemical warfare expert Stanley Goodspeed is sent on an urgent mission with a former British spy, John Mason, to stop General Frank Hummel from launching chemical weapons on Alcatraz into San Francisco. Hummel demands $100 million in war reparations to be paid to the families of slain servicemen who died on covert operations. After their SEAL team is wiped out, Stanley and John deal with the soldiers on their own. This movie had a budget of $75 million, and it had a box office return of $335.6 million, making it the number 7 movie of 1996. And I think that's the lowest. This one's the lowest of the blockbuster month that we're going to be doing.
Yeah. This also is the most. I don't know if what the others are probably PG-13. This had to be R, right?
Yes. And I'm trying to think of the other. Ransom might be R.
Okay, I don't know Ransom, but Independence Day, are we doing?
Independence Day is PG, yeah.
And so it's
PG-13, Twister, yeah. Everything else is PG-13, which probably that's surprising, for a rated R movie to make more PG-13. Obviously, you get more butts in the seats that way. So.
Yeah, right.
And Rotten Tomatoes has this at a 76%. IMDb 7.4 out of 10, and Letterboxd 3.6 out of 5. So pretty even across the board for all three of those. Yeah. Roger Ebert loved it. He gave it 3.5 stars. He said director Michael Bay orchestrates the elements into an efficient and exciting movie with some big laughs, sensational special effects sequences, and sustained suspense. And it's interesting to see how good actors like Connery, Cage, and Harris can find a way to occupy the center of this whirlwind with characters who somehow manage to be quirky and convincing. Yeah, 3.5 stars out of 4.
I liked his review. At one point he said he does praise the script for being like literate, and I was like, I don't think that's the strength of the movie, but the rest of it's pretty spot on.
Well, especially when like parts of the script you learn through, like there's a lot of improvisation in here. There's so many punch ups and rewrites that they've done with other people in here. So I mean, it's good. You can poke so many holes in this movie, though.
Oh gosh, yeah, the story is a mess, and the script I don't think is very good. It's just delivery that makes it better.
Honestly. Counterpoint review here by Jay Boyar of the Orlando Sentinel gave it 2 out of 5 stars. He said, if it's not the most awful thing I've ever seen, it's close enough to make me wince.
Okay, that's pretty bad. That's I'm even surprised that the ratings were as low as they were. I mean, having not seen The Rock until now, I guess in my mind, I did expect it to be a little more of a movie that would be critically loved and not so much tomato meter like that. I get that this is like a big audience movie, and then I understand that critics liked it too, but like that it would be torn apart by critics. I expected it to be kind of loved by critics, and that's what makes it a modern classic. Now, I should have known better. It is Michael Bay, but like I thought that The Rock was supposed to be a great movie, not just the funnest movie ever. And it was about halfway through my first watch that I just kind of ripped that Band-Aid off, and then I started to have a lot more fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That I didn't expect this movie to be so much like Con Air or Face Off, and it really is like in that world. I thought it was more serious than that.
But there's such a difference. So like last week we did Broken Arrow. Did you end up watching?
Yeah, I did see Broken Arrow.
Like and comparing the two, there's something there's so much missing from Broken Arrow that The Rock just gives you so much more. Like you said, it's a lot more fun than Broken Arrow is.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's the script of Broken Arrow, the actors. Like I think you have John Travolta, who ends up doing Face Off, which is a fun movie. It's insane, but like it's fun and is capable.
I think one of the things we'll talk about is that there's I'm not a big fan of action films in general. They have to be especially good, and I think this one was especially good of an action film. But there's action choreography that gets me locked in. I kind of know the routes of everybody's movement throughout the city, much less Alcatraz. And then there are things that happen that aren't just guns and explosions and fast cars that track like beats that you can say this happens and this happens and this happens in a car chase, rather than you see multiple shots of cars going fast, and that's all that happens. And so Michael Bay does that. Broken Arrow doesn't do that as well. And then I'll give Michael Bay, who I loathe as a creative person, like credit. Like I think the reason Bad Boys doesn't hold up as good, or The Rock does better than Broken Arrow, is we've been talking on this podcast for a while about that like grayed out, fuzzy look of the 90s movies. And this is looking forward to 2000s movies where everything is color filtered. Like Michael Bay's Bad Boys Orange is all over San Francisco. And so I think that color filter slickness is making it miles ahead of Broken Arrow. I mean, there are lots of things make it better than Broken Arrow, but I think that's one thing that this feels closer to 2000. Broken Arrow feels closer to 1992.
Yeah. And comparing a movie like John Woo, who, you know, is famous for his action movies and like his stylized violence that he does in some of his movies, that his Hong Kong movies that he does, like Michael Bay, I feel like is an American John Woo in the same sense.
Yeah.
Like there is very stylized where you're like, that is a Michael Bay shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much so that it like irritated the actors that he's working with. I know that you might have this in your fun facts, but Ed Harris was just like, can you just put the camera like in a normal spot for once?
Yeah, he wanted to shoot from every angle. And
yeah, he's shooting from every angle, and you see it that way when he's doing Dutch angles, he's doing, you know, the upside down. I don't know. He's doing
weird
everything.
zoom ins, you know.
Weird zoom ins, yes.
Yeah.
That don't necessarily I don't know. It works in this. I came out of this being like, this is a prettier movie than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and it's so long, and it's fun all the way through.
The whole way. And another thing I'll say about kind of hopping on your Bad Boys, going to talk about that. Bad Boys, you have, I mean, I'm trying to go back to that time, but like every scene, every action scene in Bad Boys feels the same, I think.
Yeah.
Like car chase, gunshots, done. This one gives you so many different things. There's a heist, there's a bomb diffusion, there's chemical weapons, there's planes, there's gunfights, it is different aspects of action and suspense.
Well, it does what it's like a video game. It's what makes video games fun. Like I didn't think about this with pair with, but there's no adaptation. But like you could pair it with a video game. You pair it with like the first Metal Gear Solid, which is the infiltration of an isolated base on an Alaskan island. And by the end of that video game, you know that map intimately. Like you've had different experiences and different like vibes as you backtrack through the guts of this military base that's isolated in the middle of anywhere. So you can track this like boss movement through like this is where you got dropped off. And you're starting your video game, and you've worked your way through here, you worked your way through there, you went through the quick time event minecart sequence, you know, and then you got here, then you got there. And, you know,
it was
like
Goonies-esque there for a second.
Yeah.
It definitely felt Goonies-esque when they got on that.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking
Temple of Doom. Yeah, Temple of Doom is the better one.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I forgot all about the cart scene, which is so crazy.
One of the things I would have cut out of this movie.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I didn't even write down anything awards wise if this thing did anything.
I saw that it was nominated only for Best Sound for Academy Award, and then there was like a MTV Award for Best Duo or something like that.
Incredible.
I think they just figure out who at MTV Awards would like, or Nickelodeon Awards even would like, who's going to show up, and then we'll actively make the category.
Could you imagine Sean Connery showing up to like the Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards?
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
I hope he shows up like he does in the beginning of this movie.
You see that Mike Tyson clip where he's getting interviewed by the little girl? It's going to be something like that.
Great.
I just have one thing on the reviews. It was a positive review from Time Magazine, but I just like the phrase that they called the movie slick, brutal, and almost human.
Ooh.
And they're like, and it's great.
Yeah. Siskel, like I was going to use Siskel's review of this, but he didn't really hate it that much. He liked it less than Roger Ebert, but he basically was like, no, it's a solid action movie. So I didn't really use his. Siskel is not as good a writer as Roger Ebert. But there are some times when Roger Ebert, I'm like, you're just describing the plot of the movie and you're not doing a review.
Yeah, I think Roger Ebert isn't necessarily the most correct about movies of all time, but he can like stir your spirit pretty well. Like he understands why people love movies and can speak to that in movies. So that's why I've got his great movies books. And whenever I read, they're like 2-3 pages long reviews. They're really short. but he
Just
really does like describe a movie well, what's good about it, and why that matters to an audience. So that's kind of his magic.
For you, the final Great Movies book comes out on paperback this year.
Oh, is there one more?
Yes, there's one more,
Okay.
it was only available in hardcover, and so I think Great Movies 4 is what it is. And
Oh,
it
I have
comes out-
4. I just have the hardcover.
yeah, well,
But
it
I
comes
think I have
out.
a mix. Yeah.
Yeah, so it comes out finally. I had been waiting. I was like, surely it'll come out in a soft cover, but
Yeah, they're good books. I like to pick them up once a year and be like, oh, I've seen 3 of these now. Let me read those, and I put a little dot next to them.
maybe The Rock made it. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe.
Well, there was a planned sequel for this movie, or there was talk of a sequel for this movie. It never happened, obviously. And then Sean Connery's passed away since, because he's would have been 100 and something by this point. But we could talk about that in fun facts. Let's go ahead and get into our movie conversation. Let's talk about some of the best scenes that we liked in this movie.
Yeah, there's so many. It's hard to pick out the right ones, but there's some that are clearly, of the best. I think the first great scene and important scene is Nick Cage in the lab defusing the bomb.
Yeah,
A bunch of stuff going on. You learn about his abilities, his character's personality. You get the setup of the atropine, stab yourself in the heart. You already learned that this movie is sloppy and funny and it doesn't make a ton of sense, but it's going to have really tense action.
and that's coming after we get a scene of Ed Harris going to what is definitely a military cemetery, and his wife is buried there. Do military wives get or spouses get buried with their?
I have no idea. That's interesting. She also might have been a service person.
She
Who
could have been a
knows?
service person too.
I don't know if non-soldiers, like non-combatant military people, will get buried in the same cemeteries either, but I imagine they might. But no, she would have had a rank on her, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's it.
Maybe because he's a general or something,
Yeah, right.
high ranking,
Or he has a plot there or something,
Yeah.
like, and so they bury you next to your spouse.
and he slams his Congressional Medal of Honor down on the grave.
Yeah, it took me the second time because it's funny with the intro montage is crazy, and it's kind of really good, but I wasn't ready to really pay attention yet the first time, so I didn't realize like how much backstory is told through like just sounds of like, God, we need help out here. When's our help? God, get my men out of there. Oh, we can't get your men out of there, and all of that. I mean, I learned that motivation later without that, but
Right.
It starts very emotional and intense, and you gotta go. It does say his wife. And you're like, whose wife? And then it shows his face. You're like, oh, his wife?
His wife, this guy.
His wife is crazy.
No,
Apparently she didn't serve in the military or have a career or,
do anything.
else to nominate
He just
her.
needed his Barbara, man. His Barb. No, the only reason I bring this up is because I always watch these movies with Alyssa. Alyssa is not, does not love action movies because they stress her out.
Yeah.
And within the first like 10 minutes, there are 3 scenes of, this whole like montage with the you got to get us out of here thing, him in the cemetery, Stanley defusing the bomb in the thing, and then them stealing the rockets from the military guys. That happens all within like 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's almost all
like,
credit sequences, all of that.
She's like,
that's why I think the weapons heist feels like it's part of the credits. It may not be technically, but like
Yeah.
it feels like it is. And then it feels like it slows down enough for him to get his Beatles album. We're like, okay, the movie's starting,
about the Beatles.
Ugh.
But no, Alyssa's like,
Beatle
what the
maniac.
hell is this movie? Early on, she's like, it is taking me so many places already.
And we've got so long to go.
I know. I thought so much more of this. I forgot about 50% of this movie existed.
Yeah.
Like-
What's funny too is there's so many plot holes that I saw in the first time, and there's still plenty of them in my second viewing. But a lot of them are like actually covered up holes. They're just very convoluted.
Yeah.
And so like one thing was him deciding to do this then, but saying like, oh, I couldn't do it till she was dead. But now I can. But then I was confused. I was like, oh, you don't want to kill people later on, but like you are murdering like other soldiers when you're trying to steal these rockets. Like that doesn't seem
They
to
didn't
matter.
murder him.
They didn't?
No.
Did they say that?
Yes, that is part of it. They say the darts will wear like The darts
Good.
will
Yeah,
wear
I
off.
thought about that. I was like, phew, like it was very like Silencer, 007, like kind of stuff. So I was like, maybe they're not killing them. I will say that they did have a lot of security to get in there, but when they get to the high tech vaults where the poison is kept, it's just like a padlock that's on my shed right now. They just take bolt cutters to a pad like a master lock, and then open up the big the big wheel, and then they're in.
And you got those two guys behind the cage that aren't even protecting the chemical weapons. They're just behind a cage, like you would like a weapons cage, and they just pull them, shoot them with darts, and pull them down. That's the security that they have. So it starts off correct, but the defusing the bomb scene is I think great. Like you said.
Yeah, I guess like there's fake tension, but then you want to think twice about it, and it's like I don't know. Are you trying to say the government's just incompetent because you have a sprinkler? You have all of this technology, and you're the FBI, but the sprinkler system doesn't work. We haven't tested it in a while, and then like you have people who are highly trained, but they like are like, what? I have to use what? What? There's a needle in here. I have to put it in me. Oh my God, I'm never gonna do that. You know, and it's all very silly.
And my question is, if he would have used the atropine too early, would that have messed him up? Like they were like stab your...
Yeah, I don't know the science, but at the end when he uses it, he does like he does seem to be affected, but he's also being affected by the poison.
Right.
So at the end, he's like on his ground, like seizing up and spasming or whatever. But that's one of the things that poison does. So it's like the atropine's like racing against the poison to see who's going to win.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it would do.
Yeah, if there's no poison on the suit, or their poison was on the suit, I don't know. Atropine seems like he could have died maybe if he atropined without the poison. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that poison, which I don't think is the main poison in the thing. I think it's sarin gas.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe I don't want to be stupid. Like, I don't know that. I guess gas melts your skin off. I guess like mustard gas kind of did that. I think it just. Yeah. I think it just like I think poison just kind of liquefies your organs and shit. I don't know how it would melt your skin without heat. I guess it's acidic, but it's melting through that rubber. Also, he pulls out that baby doll and he's like, "Hey, look, a baby doll!" And then there's poison in it. You're like, "That's the whole reason you're in there." Don't
yeah, stop touching stuff. And Nicolas Cage even says he's like, "Hey, stop that!" And then of course the sarin gas comes from that. I just looked it up. Atropine just blocks the overactive nerve receptors to stop respiratory failure and muscle spasms when exposed to sarin gas. So.
Okay, yeah.
But there's also another thing that you need to take called pralidoxime, which takes dislodges the sarin from the blocked enzyme to restore your normal nerve function. So,
okay, interesting. So yeah, I don't know like how long that would take or whether that would have stopped him from. But none of that makes sense because they're so ill prepared, and they're like, we're fucked. This isn't going to work, and there's 15 seconds left, and no one's running away. And I mean, there's no talk about whether the explosion will be contained. I don't know. It's just a bomb diffusing scene off the bat.
Yeah, I do love though that many times Nicolas Cage talks about like not being or is referenced as not being soldier-esque or anything, but they establish very early on that he can defuse bombs, no problem. Like
he can defuse bombs, no problem, and he's a little bit crazy and brave.
Yeah,
you know. So he's later on they kind of try to paint him as like is he going to be like a coward in this situation? Mm-hmm. And as much as he doesn't want to be in a combat situation, he's like he does a million things that prove that he's like, you know, recklessly brave.
Yeah, pretty badass when it comes down to it. What's your next one?
The scene where I mean, it takes 20 minutes to get to Sean Connery, but the negotiation scene in the prison between Nick Cage and Sean Connery.
That also includes one of my laugh out loud moments.
There's a lot going on in there.
This movie's so funny.
It's very funny. The lines aren't funny; they're just absurd. Because when you go looking for like funny quotes, they don't read funny by themselves. It's not written funny. It's just absurd in the situation that anybody would use that word or that phrase, and then everybody is a crazy actor.
Yeah. So they bring out John Mason, the Sean Connery character, and he is, you know, I guess grizzled, long hair, has been in prison for a long time. They get this. I'm not gonna lie, Ryan, you look like Sean Connery in this, like in that. Like, The
I can see
long
that.
hair. He looked badass, and I was like, he kind of looks like Ryan there.
My hair's going to go very white. It's already going white, but
And then, like, after the movie was over, Alyssa turned to me. She's like, I think Ryan could play Sean Connery's role.
oh hell yeah!
I was like, I thought the same thing.
I didn't think that about myself, but I do think I had the same face shape and like dark eyes, kind of like the cheeks under the eyes. I kind of see some of that. Yeah.
And then it also helps that he knew he was like super smart about everything.
Yeah, this is the one scene where Michael Bay's like, I could do the intelligent thing too. We can throw in some references here. But then later on, you expect that to be a thing that they connect on, and then like it's going to keep coming back, but it's not really. They're not like nerds together ever again.
No, the ending thing with the etymology of his name. That's like how it comes back.
Yeah. But also, like, I don't know. Lots of people would know Godspeed and connect Goodspeed to Godspeed. And I don't even think it means what he says it was. Like, they tweak the meaning to be like, oh, it means to have a prosperous journey. And it just means to have like a safe journey, a safe and fast journey. But they make it prosperous because then we'll get to the end scene, I guess. I don't know what the point of giving him the microfilm is.
The sequel. Yeah,
there was going to be a sequel, so maybe that's it.
Yeah. No, the good scene, and we introduce this other FBI character in here who is like a negotiator, and then he goes in and is basically like, I'm not going to deal with you. Like, it's not a very good negotiating scene, and then they just throw in this biochemist to go in there and negotiate.
Yeah, John Spencer, I love him so much. He's got a great voice, but he does a thing that he also does in West Wing a little bit, but this time it's just a little sloppier because he says like, hey, go in there and negotiate, but don't strong arm him. It's not going to work. And then the guy goes in and strong arms him. And then he immediately goes, I don't know. I guess I didn't bring a backup. Let me send this nerd in there, which is like a weird idea, but I love he's got a great delivery because he's so good with his voice to be stern and commanding. Mm-hmm. But I know he does this a lot in West Wing where like Nick Cage at one point goes like, so you want me to lie? And he's like, yeah, lie. Like he's like yeah, no, sure. Why not? Just go ahead and do that. You know, like, it's really good.
I feel like John Spencer is the bad guy in this movie. Out of everybody, he's like the bad guy.
In my first watch, like I was like, one problem I have with this movie is that there are no good guys. Nick Cage is a good guy.
Yes.
I a little sus at first that he's basically a cop, but I mean, he is basically just there to defuse bombs and like, stop, terroristic chemical attacks. He's a pretty good guy throughout. But Sean Connery like is not sympathetic, and they keep trying to make him sympathetic
by adding the daughter in there.
Yeah, or I'm not an evil man, and then like I've been wrongfully held, and that's true. But you also were engaging in spycraft to blackmail a government. Like you don't get to be cried about. Like that's what happens, bro. Like, you deserve your constitutional rights. Trust me, he does. I believe that. But he's not an innocent man,
right?
And I don't know. He seems to have done a lot of shitty war stuff. And then I'm constantly confused because like the good guys who are trying to defuse the situation are also never denying that they did judicial outside of war, illegal war crimes, and that they didn't do right by the soldiers who did them or their families. And so Ed Harris has like a really good point. Like I get it. But then Ed Harris is like, well, we are going to bomb all of San Francisco or kill hostages, but then he's not going to kill them. So it's like everybody's motivations are clearly like pretty evil and selfish and violent because this is a little boy movie. But I guess if you can justify it at the end in a little boy way, then, everybody gets to be likable.
Yeah. I feel like I spent the most of the first half of this movie. Alyssa's like, I'm on Ed Harris's side like the whole time. It's like,
she just kept saying like, I know it's 1996, $100 million. You've wasted that already in like choppers and Humvees and like pay the $100 million. And then like go chase them down and wherever they end up. I mean, I know there's like a don't negotiate with terrorists thing, but I don't know, man. It's like all of San Francisco is going to die in the worst way possible. It's like a Hiroshima level event, 100 mil is not that much.
Yeah, not that much at all.
For the military?
Yeah, look at 2026 and tell me $100 million is worth the lives of all those people. And he's really just like, I just want to pay these people that deserve what they should have gotten if they were killed in a regular way. But because you made them do all this other stuff, they don't get their money because nobody knows they, did all this crazy behind the enemy line stuff. Like, just pay. And it doesn't have to be a news thing. Just pay them.
Or smarter negotiation stuff. Like, hey, you know what? We're right. We're gonna pay all those families $1 million. You're right about that. But you have to give up and come in, and you don't want to, this has gone too far. You don't want to hurt more people. We'll do right by your men that died in Desert Storm in Hong Kong or whatever. And then but you gotta like, come out of the, whatever it's called. You gotta come in and go to jail for this. And then they're like, all right, I'm an honorable strong man. I'll go pay the price for sacrificing for others. But then there's a lot of like, it's so funny because they're like, they come into the shower scene, which might be, no, it's not my next one.
No,
there's like big speeches about like, you're Marines, you took this oath. And I was like, it's so the bootlicking of people who have been in like basic training must be a motherfucker because like people will get fucked over their whole lives by the United States military. And they'll say, but I got to know, I made that promise 40 years ago. Like,
yeah.
I guess I have to let it happen again. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. Didn't you make a promise to yourself and God?
You're also answering to these people that also took oaths to do go by the Constitution and all this other, and they don't do.
They don't do it. So
it's all shit about you, man.
Yeah, it's all just like jerk off stuff in the middle, and a lot of that's the writing more than reality, but it's also reality too,
But it's some of this, like I know that we'll get to this in our fun facts, but some of this does give that twinge of Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah, little moments.
Oh my God, so many
screenwriters. They're like, you do all the speeches because I like a lot of the speeches. They don't make a lot of sense.
No,
but they're wordy out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, they're long and wordy, and then it's back to like somebody else's screenwriting.
It goes like that, and we'll get to that on the fun facts and everything. But yes, it gets very Aaron Sorkin-y, where he gets a little preachy, and it gets a little like both side, like playing both sides thing that he is famous for in like the Newsroom, I think, is the most like egregious that, or even American.
They do it in West Wing. West Wing. There's an issue. There's like they put two characters on both sides of it, and they both give their point. It's very debate club forensics level. So it does feel like that sometimes, but it's just not a movie that. I guess it's benefited by it because I like those scenes, and it's nice to have a break. But it's not that it's done well. It's just a break,
Yes, it is a nice little break in there. My next scene, I think before we get to like the shower and all that stuff, is when Mason escapes. Like we have the little negotiation scene, and then he's like, I want this and this and this, and I want to be put up in the Ritz, and I want a haircut and a suit and all that stuff. One, I will say, like, hilarious that this is the scene that they chose for to get him ready, and that they actually played all this out. His stylist, not to be confused with the barber, does a terrible job on his beard. His beard goes all the way up here, and I'm like, that looks terrible.
Well, I thought he did a great job because he very effectively only cut off the fake hairs. I was like, it's really good how you left all the real hairs and you just cut the fake ones away. You're amazing. Yeah.
I love that. I love that look that Sean Connery had, though. That long-haired look, like the white. It was
interesting, and it made him broader too, right? Like it made him.
He looked huge, man.
Yeah, in the negotiation scene, he looks huge. I liked it too, but it did feel fake. I guess maybe
a little bit, yeah. No, but embrace that whenever that comes for you. You're gonna look like a fucking awesome, just individual.
Hell yeah.
So just embrace it. It's coming. But yeah, so he gets his haircut in this thing, and then throws Leo over the balcony. Leo's his character.
All of this stuff in the car chase could be cut from the movie, but it's good.
It's so good.
It's really good. So I like it. I'm glad it's there. It's 2 hours and 17 minutes. I haven't, I could get it done in 2 hours, but not much lower than that.
I agree with you. This could have been cut, but man, it's good. And like San Francisco as a setting for this too. You've got all the hills, and what better place to put a car chase scene than this? When I was watching, Alyssa was like, "Which one's better, this or Goldeneye?" Like the tank car chase scene in Goldeneye, and I was like, "This is pretty good." Like,
it's good. Again, it has these choreographed beats where different things are happening. And it's not just car chase. And then there's a lot of, I wish I'd written down more because there's a lot of moments that I'm like, you're clearly doing this as a reference to another movie. And then I think they had to, is it Bullet or is it French Connection with the like very famous car chase in San Francisco?
Oh, if it's San Francisco, it's probably Bullet because French Connection is Chicago.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's got the L train above them in French Connection.
I think they both have famous car chase scenes, but I mean, like Bullet's up there is like it's a 10-minute long Steve McQueen one. But it's San Francisco and it uses the hills a lot. And it's not Michael Bay style. It's just very 70s or 80s, like low key. In fact, they're probably going 45 miles an hour, but it's more grounded and realistic, you know?
And there's even like elements of like
he was homaging that a little bit, or at least winking at it.
And there's like elements of speed in here too. John DeBont is with the cable car. It feels like public transport, something to that effect. And you get the beats with that and the comedy with the cable car operator in there and being pissed off that it got thrown off the tracks and stuff. It felt very much like
and then I mean another thing, like again, I hadn't you got to give up the it's fun to point out the plot holes and the silliness, but obviously it's not what the movie's about, so I don't beat it up too much for it. But like he's not a good guy. He almost murders like so many people.
Oh my god,
like it's crazy that he didn't. And then like it's almost like a very anime fantasy level or like John Wick level where he's like, I did all this knowing I wouldn't actually get away, but I got 5 minutes with my daughter.
Yeah.
And then like I'm happy, and then I'm gonna come back willingly into, I'm very cool about it all. And it was all planned out. I knew what I was doing.
And this is almost also like parody levels too of like car chase scenes because he literally hits everything that he possibly can. He does it on purpose, but it's like, oh, we've got a water truck, we've got chickens. Like there were no chickens, but
right.
all those things that like I'm surprised a pane of glass, like two workers with a pane of glass weren't walking by and they crashed through that.
It's another way where I do think the script is a little clever where there's like potholes of like, oh no, he sucks at this. He's not supposed to suck at it. But they're like, oh, we'll just have one line in there where he was like, I was doing it to slow you down. And it was like, cool, now we can hit everything we want, Now we can make a big mess, because that's on purpose. But already $100 million worth of damage done,
So much. Yeah, seriously. Just pay the men, and you don't even have to worry about this guy. Right. You don't have to pop him out of jail for any of this. It's crazy. But such a good scene and so well done, and it ends kind of lackluster.
Throwing Leo McGarry over the roof is really fun, but then again he has to like say, then I have to get out of here somehow and make it work. And I guess he counts on Nick Cage not being able to shoot him. That's where Nick Cage goes, freeze, mister, like a like a toddler. He's like, freeze, mister.
Jeepers. I caught him. He did, and he does a good guy thing there. He's like, "Ma'am, just the facts. Like, we're with your dad, and he's helping us out."
Yeah, because he catches up with him again because he's not a nerd. He can steal. He can appropriate multiple vehicles and drive them all, and like knock a guy over and steal his, and then tail a suspect, and then do like crazy research over the phone in the middle of a car chase. And like the FBI can't do. So he's clearly a field agent. I mean,
he's pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. And then next scene, what you got?
I think the little furnace room sequence, but then especially the shower shootout is my next one.
Yeah, I had getting in the rock. Mostly that I put getting into the thing is that the furnace room thing. I remember two parts of this movie, and one of them is him rolling through, like doing the timing thing and rolling through the furnace, the cistern or whatever. And I remember that vividly. And then of course he opens the door and says the line, "Welcome to the Rock," which is, what everybody knows from the trailers and everything. But I remember that. That is one of two parts in this movie that I was like, yep, that's the beat I'm waiting for. And it paid off for me.
And again, as a person who's like critical of action movies, like That's the stuff I love. And if I was going to write one, I would, I'd sit down with the writing team and I would just have a board of like 10-second cool things. Like, I would just make a large list of 10-second cool things and I'd start plugging them into the plot where they fit, right? And that way it's never like, I feel like a lot of action movies are made like, here's the concept. And then we'll have like a whole sequence where they break into the island. We'll figure that one out later. And I'm like, no, the sequence you figure out early, and then you can shove dumb plot anywhere you want. And it's fun as hell. Like, but you figure out like, oh, what if we had to roll through, this stuff and memorize the timing? All they have to do is say that out loud and then watch him roll a stuntman roll around for a few seconds. And it's one of the coolest, most memorable things in there. You don't have to do anything spectacular. You just have to write something cool and memorable.
Yeah. And again, it feels almost like an homage to Indiana Jones. This part feels like an homage to Last Crusade, starring Sean Connery, where he's like timing the penitent man.
Right. Because if you
very much,
I criticize action movies for the writing being bad, I'm told action movies aren't about the writing. And then I think if I challenge people and say, all right, let's talk about your favorite action movies. What's the most memorable moments in there? I was like, somebody wrote that down and said, that's cool. Let's make sure that happens. And in between those memorable moments is just a bunch of slop, like it keeps tension up and you're excited and interested or whatever. But the things that make an action movie great are the things that are kind of thought about and written.
Yeah.
So yeah, choreographed or written action is what I enjoy.
And and after that part, it's a little bit less exciting. Like them getting into the Alcatraz and like their little Batman, how they got, like, I felt like it was very like Batman Forever, how they got to the island on their little scuba gear and things.
Yeah, that also reminded me of James Bond. I think like Thunderball with a submersible.
Yeah, very much so. And then you get your little Indiana Jones moment, and then it's kind of just lackluster. And we're gonna go up through into the shower room.
And then the other elements I think of good action sequences are set pieces, making the environment cool and using it. And so the shower is a set piece where once again I can like draw a little map from memory of like, oh, these people are above them. They're coming up from here. This is what the shower looks like. This is where you can hide behind, but there's people on all sides. That kind of thing makes a place memorable. And I think it's what makes one of the things that makes the shower scene so good.
And for all the gamers out there, this is Call of Duty. This is where this is the gulag. This is the shower where you go and fight to the death.
Yeah.
So it was kind of nice. I was like, they have a map that's this Alcatraz map.
Yeah.
From Call of Duty.
Yeah, I saw that as a reference. I don't know if it was ever officially said that was the inspiration, but it clearly feels like it.
Yeah, definitely. This is like the last scene we get with Michael Biehn, most famous for Aliens movie.
Terminator too, right?
Terminator, the first Terminator.
As well,
he is John Connor's dad.
Yeah, that's right.
So Michael Biehn in here, and he gets the preachy moment. Kyle Reese. Yeah, he gets the preachy moment. He gets to say, "You took an oath."
Yeah. So you get this big action thing, and it's also smart writing where like you have a problem and then you have to write your way out of it, and it's like cool. We've justified bringing on the convict and the scientists, onto the island, but now we need it to be just them. So let's find this way to get them all out. All because like they're smart enough and have the tech to see the motion detector, but not good enough to move it without it on, like without a.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a John C. McGinley line. He's like, oh yeah, these little babies, if they move them, then they've got a secondary thing that'll detect the motion or whatever. So
it's like a little pendulum. That's how tilts happen in pinball machines. I know very well about how that works. Yeah. A tilt in a pinball machine is a hanging pendulum, and if you move it too much and it touches the side, it creates a thing that makes you tilt and lose your ball and your bonus.
We learned stuff. I'm learning. I didn't know. I had no idea. But yeah, you would think the guys that are like seeing that, they've got their little camera thing and they're like, oh, this is a laser beam thing. Let me just cut it with a mirror.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't I don't give a I don't. Okay. This is a little plot holy. But like, even if you put a mirror to reflect the laser, aren't you still cutting it? Like, and wouldn't that trip the sensor, the original?
I think it would a lot. Yeah, I think it would a lot of lasers. I don't know. I think you have to. I think you have to do it really fast or have like a very rimless mirror.
Yeah, it has to be that.
I don't know. I don't know why I wouldn't read it as movements, but
then you see this device. You see the little spring in there. And you're like, oh, we need to be very careful with this. But no, I guess they've never seen anything like that before in their life.
Well, and then they are very careful and then they fuck it up, right? Like they just They're not careful enough. That's what happens, right?
Yeah, they're just
and instead of like regrouping and doing something else, or like, let's all get out here into this death trench. And then the leader's like, I mean, like, because then Ed Harris is like, you're completely surrounded from a high ground, like, bro, you don't do this shit. And he's like, oh, come on, I'm gonna die doing this. And I'm like, well, you should have got someone else to lead this mission.
Yeah,
the stakes are too high for you to go out in a blaze of glory for pride,
Yeah. I just don't get it. That was like my biggest, like, I know it's the plot, like how we got to keep the plot going. We needed to get to these two guys, but I was just like, why are we doing moment of like, you're serving your country, you signed an oath, or you made an oath to this country to protect everybody. I don't know. I didn't like it. Everybody gets massacred on accident.
Yeah, that one guy watches everybody get massacred. He's like, I guess I got to go die too, and then he goes up and dies and falls back down.
Makes me so mad. That made me more mad. That you could have killed that guy later.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad to have him around for a little second. I mean, he's already had a few lines, so he's not like a nobody. No,
that's what happens to him in Titanic too. That's Leo's friend in Titanic.
Oh yeah, that guy.
That guy. He just dies. He's like the Sean Bean of the 90s.
Yeah, right.
He dies all the time.
That being said, it's an effective and like memorable set piece.
It really is. And you get I think the biggest piece of this that I like is obviously the camera at the end when Ed Harris is like basically talking to everybody through the camera. He's like, I warned you this would happen. Like these are more senseless deaths on your head, kind of thing. So I think that was pretty effective. And then you have our two main characters trying to figure out what they're going to do next. One of them's like, I tried. We're done here. They think we're dead probably. So let's just get out of here. And Goodspeed being like, no, we've got he has a little bit more incentive. His future wife and mother of his child.
Well, I mean, I think he basically like talks him into it and goes, like, what are you gonna do? Swim back to San Francisco and then die from poison in a couple hours? Like,
oh, that's a good point too.
Yeah, like, where are you gonna go, bro? Like, you're gonna stay in this island, and it's not gonna work out well for you, or you gotta like find a way back to shore just to die. You're not gonna get your daughter out in time, that kind of thing. And because then they do I don't know, they have special bombs that only create fire and not explosions, and they cover like a football field's worth of underground tunnels. That was crazy.
Isn't that how? But haven't you seen that before in a movie? I know, like where the fire will
blowing out of like through like sewers or like pipes or whatever. But it just felt like they were really far away, and that they were just dropping bombs without like hurting any infrastructure, without explosions, just creating fire that went on forever and ever and ever. I mean, maybe it's possible, but it felt kind of iffy.
Also, like, there's probably no methane gas or anything that's being used there, or that's there because it's only there for tourism, and surely there's not enough, sewage or anything in there that's going to
nothing like that. I mean, the fire's gone the second it comes by. I mean, it follows them through like 5 pipes and like 3 tunnels or whatever to get to where they're at, and they're like, oh, it's still coming, and they have to dive underwater. And when they get back above water, they're like, the fire's all gone.
If an explosion happens, just get underwater. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. No.
Early trivia, apparently they did do that. They put fire above, and they convinced the actors to dive underwater when it came. And they had scuba divers right next to them to protect them. And like Sean Connery was not okay with it. He was pissed. He's like, this is dangerous.
Good for them, though.
Yeah.
What's next?
We might get it later in the thrill section, but my favorite action set piece is the morgue shootout. But this is pretty shortly after that is when they find the first bombs. You get the big speech from of these very iconic green, balls, chandelier, things with poison in them. But there's a good shootout there, and then Nicolas Cage kind of earns his respect a little bit by defusing these bombs and knowing what he's talking about. And that, I was confused the first time, but I guess it's like 1 out of 4 that they need to get. They've got 15. No, they get like 12 here, and there's like 3
they get 12. Left. There are 3 left.
I see, yeah.
Because there were supposed to be 16 bombs, right? And then the first one, the one guy dies from their team.
In the vault.
Just to show you how bad it is and how gross your skin becomes after you get exposed to this kind of thing.
And the guy from House has to be like, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. He doesn't like salute him or like sorry, soldier. He's like sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. So they're in the morgue. They disable the rock. The tracking or the guidance chips, whatever. They have to just collect them. Why they didn't destroy them right away? Who knows?
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
They are kind of interrupted, but they already have him. Like I don't know. He's also. I think he in that scene. Like I think there's multiple ways. Like they could dispose of the poison, but they really can't. So they have to take it with them very carefully. So they leave the poison behind. But I think he's also diffusing the rocket. I think he's getting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
the guidance chips make it like not accurate, but you could still like get lucky and shoot a rocket with a bunch of poison on it without guidance, and then see where it lands.
Well, they say like it'll get 500 feet out and then it'll crash in the water without those guidance chips. So just destroy them. But yeah, they get 12 of them because 3 are already set up somewhere else on the island. And then you get the people coming that eventually hey, people are coming. And then we get a shootout between these people. And we get another one of my favorite scenes with the there's a lot of cool stuff in this scene, I will say. Well, a couple things. Yeah. Whenever they're shooting and there's that desk situation and Sean Connery pushes out the drawer to shoot there, I thought that was really cool.
Well, when I talk about choreographed action, this is my favorite action part in the movie because in that fight scene, pretty in quick succession, he throws a knife into his neck, which is dope.
Awesome.
And then he pushes out the middle desk shelf so he could shoot through it, which is really cool. He ends up shooting him in the foot, and you see the feet foot exploding. But then he shoots up at the AC unit and makes it fall on him. And like this is all like silly Bugs Bunny video game shit, but it's like fun to see. It's not just like screaming and going shoot, 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 screaming, shoot, 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 like a lot of action movies, which bore the hell out of me. Like all of that's really fun. So.
And then the aftermath of that with Nicolas Cage being like, is he supposed to be twitching the whole time?
Very Nick Cage, yeah.
That was a very funny scene. I remember when I was a kid, I used to think that was hilarious that, this dead body is twitching and Nicolas Cage is unable to perform under those circumstances.
I mean, it's funny looking too. Like it's fairly Edgar Wright, like in a kind of comedy way.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that was my next scene, disabling the rockets. And what do you have after that?
I mean, the next scenes that aren't super important, but I guess I like them a lot is two back to back, Mason and Hummel's confrontation, talking to each other, Connery and Ed Harris talking to each other. And then the prison cell sequence is really fun.
Yes. So Mason gets himself caught on purpose.
Like as a distraction. He kind of walks in and gives himself up.
So that Nicolas Cage can go defuse the other two rockets before the final rocket that they can't find. Which is a good exchanging of words or of people, I guess, our protagonist, our antagonist. Just, I don't know.
It's just a good, the talk off. I mean, they quip some quotes.
That's the thing I like is the quotes. He's like, here's a quote, Thomas Jefferson or somebody like that. And then
the true liberty must be like fed from time to time with the blood of patriots. But then Connery hits him with an amazing quote that I never heard.
That Oscar Wilde quote is great.
Yeah, patriotism is the vice of the vicious is like really fucking, that's a baller quote.
And then he proves him right.
Yeah. But it's just a good thing, and they're kind of talking soldier to soldier and feeling themselves out. But there's no real stakes except that you kind of learn. Maybe this is the first time you learn a little bit that Ed Harris's heart isn't in violence, and it becomes important later. Although I think it's bullshit, but later when Sean Connery tries to leave a second time, even though the stakes are the same as when he left the first time, his only reason is like, I looked in that guy's eyes. He's not gonna do this. He's not psycho enough. And he may be right or whatever, but it's still a weird thing to leave the chance.
Also, with those crazy, like he only talked to the one guy. He doesn't expect, hey,
all the others,
the mutiny from Melvin and Candyman to be like, hey, we need to do this. We need to kill some people.
And I can almost understand him, although they wouldn't want his character to say it out loud. I could understand his character being like, that sucks for 83 hostages, but I've suffered too. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like, what do you want me to do? They're probably going to get killed by their own government, but I can't fight like 20 people at once. I'm leaving because I think I'm safe to. But anyways, that's that moment. And then in the meantime, Nicolas Cage does get one of the he has a little action shootout, nothing special, but he gets one of the rockets defused. Then they both get caught, and now they're left alone, unguarded. There's a lot of places like where the rockets all are not guarded at all.
They're not guarded in their cells. Also, are the 81 other hostages not surrounded by
It's interesting. You don't see the hostages much in this movie, although they are like an important piece on the board for like character motivations.
Yeah.
They're not seen very much, which there's not a lot of room in this movie to show them. But like other movies, I think would make the choice to like flip back to them more often to remind the audience of the human stakes. But they're just talked about and not seen. And they're not in the same, they're not in the same place as these two are, which is strange.
And we get a great scene of just Nicolas Cage basically giving up and Sean Connery escaping from his jail cell after all this.
It's pretty good. There's a couple good monologues, good lines there. And then it's also a plot hole. Why don't they just shoot him? They shot everybody else who snuck onto the island.
It's true.
Yeah.
Why are these two guys that are
like lock them up? It's like, why don't we just murk them? Or why don't we put them in a cell with the other hostages? You know, like, no, let's go find an unoccupied hallway, put them in two separate cells here, and then leave them alone for a while.
And they've definitely killed like at least 3 or 4 of their team from not just the morgue scene, but the
well, and they've been trying to kill them. When they realize that they survived the shower scene, they're like they're dropping like fucking napalm in the sewers. They're sending guys down the mine carts to shoot at them a lot in order to kill them. And then they walk up and give themselves up, and they're like, we shouldn't kill these guys. And they've already proven themselves capable of like taking out almost all of them except for the last rocket. These guys have been able to help take out these two guys. So yeah, I would just murk them.
Yeah, it's weird. They bust out. Sean Connery is like, I'm leaving, and Nicolas Cage is like, I'm not, I'm staying. I got one more to go, so I got to find it. And then he comes back because Nicolas Cage gets caught because he's
immediately,
immediately
because he's back to being incompetent Nick Cage. Because every other scene he's incompetent scientist Nick Cage, and the other scene he's like very competent like field agent spy action star.
Plastic, glass or plastic.
That's a dumb line. That's a dumb
scene. So dumb.
Oh, that's what you were talking about? Shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna put you in a glass box or a plastic bag.
Yeah, so let me tell you, which one do you want? Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, you're gonna be around to tell him you preferred plastic. It's a bad bit.
It is a bad bit, definitely.
And then behind the lines, like they think that they're dead, so they're going to basically drop thermite on all of Alcatraz, kill the hostages. The U.S. government is, in order to contain the threat. And then during that time, I think Ed Harris like launches one of the missiles because the government misses their deadline. But that's when everybody else learns that Ed Harris never had any intention of, like, he's programmed all these missiles to miss San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And one detonates, but detonates underwater in the bay. Who knows what that's going to do to everybody? I don't know how. I guess water also defeats this deadly virus. So then that triggers the whole mutiny thing. Then by the end, because the last scene I have is just like the lighthouse sequence.
Yeah, I just put, final fight to the finish thing. So you get a lot of stuff happens. The mutiny, Ed Harris ends up getting shot. His second in command ends up getting killed as well because
Ed Harris's dying words is where the last missile is. So now they know where to go. And
so Melvin and Candyman have to take care of this last thing.
What a duo.
And then also third random sniper guy that we haven't seen for most of the movie is just up there.
Yeah, I don't know why that couldn't have been the other leader, the leader of the other faction, or the guy, what's his name, the actor, the guy who plays Shocker in Spider-Man.
Oh, Crisp, whatever. That's his character's name. Yeah, Crisp.
I don't know why it couldn't have been somebody we've seen more before, but
right. It was just weird. But yeah, we get the mutiny scene. Ed Harris gets killed. Now we've got to fight to the finish with the final rocket. Tony Todd gets rocketed out of the lighthouse on the fake the rocket without the goo balls in it.
Yeah, that's a fun scene.
Yeah. I'm not into that soft ass rock.
I mean, I think the lines, like the action lines, are really bad in that scene, but And then I think it's very obvious that he should know not to stand in front of that rocket while the guy's in front of the suitcase, and then it gives him enough time to activate it while cluing him into what's about to happen. But it is still cool.
And then we get Melvin's final fight scene with while Sean Connery takes out the sniper up there, where he forces the green Orby into his mouth to expose.
The last scene, maybe because the movie's so long, it doesn't feel like much. But the more I think about it, there's a lot of fun stuff going on there. There's the rocket scene. There's a lot of just dodging behind things so he's not getting shot. But he drops one of the balls and has to catch it, and then he puts the other balls like under a sewer grate, and then he shoves one of them into Melvin's mouth. So then he has to finally do the thing that they queued up from the beginning of like stabbing himself in the heart. And then you get the platoon. What's his face from Platoon? Willem Dafoe.
Moment.
Yeah.
It's great.
The green things.
No, but when he shoves the ball into his mouth, that is the second thing I remember from this movie.
It's pretty cool.
This guy just eating a Tide Pod and just exploding from within. It's pretty great. So don't eat Tide Pods.
Don't eat Tide Pods.
But they look delicious.
Looks so good though. This poison looks delicious.
It's like a gusher. I just want to bite into it. Anything else?
That's it. I mean, we get a weird denouement. I mean, you get a good moment between the final two heroes at the end. Nicolas Cage covers Sean Connery's escape because the pardon was never going to happen anyway, so helps him out. And then in return, Sean Connery's like, "Here's where I hid the microfilm I stole all this years ago with like the truth about aliens and JFK," which again I don't know why he did, but.
I thought
there was gonna be money there, but then the whole time I kept thinking there was money there, but I was like, wait, why doesn't he go get his money? Because he needs it more than Nicolas Cage does. Like he's gonna get a bonus probably.
And why does Nicolas Cage want? He has to know that's where the mic. I mean, he even says he's like, "This is the microfilm." Why would you put yourself under that? Why would you put yourself in harm's way, I guess?
Yeah, and what are you supposed to do with it? Hide it in a different church now that you've read it all? Are you going to go to the press
Vandals!
with it?
Silly. But who's your favorite character, or is there a scene stealer that you want to mention?
My favorite character is John Spencer. And the scene stealer is my boy, Gregory Sporlater, Melvin.
Melvin. Okay.
He's like, "Hey, you tell me when, and we're cocked, rocked, and ready to lock cock this whole fucking situation." He's full evil. He is the psychopath in this movie.
I put Stanley as my favorite character, and maybe the stylist is my scene stealer, because that is something that I feel like Michael Bay does all the time, and shame on him, but like especially in Pride Month of all months, like he has to put in this
like it's not the worst it's very stereotypical and it's played for comedy, so that's bad enough. Both of those things are bad to put a gay character in for those in those ways, but it's not like nobody's like bullying this character, I guess, like no. But it's just, I don't know, I didn't care for it so much, but the actor doesn't do a bad job.
I just really liked that he's like, "But did you like your haircut?" It's the whole.
It is a funny line.
That's the punchline of the whole point of him, is just to deliver that. I don't know. I thought it was funny. Stanley. Nicolas Cage's character, I had a great time with. Like I found myself just locked in on him, and everything that he was doing was absurd, and every line that he delivered was crazy. So
you get a lot of Nick Cage acting in this movie for sure. And it's not, you don't get his like craziest moments. Like if you ever see like YouTube, like a cut of every time Nicolas Cage does a crazy choices acting. Yeah, he's not like, you may not get a lot of the stuff from The Rock, but you're going to get a lot of him making acting choices and line delivery choices that are just like very Nick Cage.
He's great. Speaking of lines, any lines that stick out to you?
So less than I thought, actually.
Honestly, same.
Yeah. We already talked about some of them, and honestly, I only had 3, and one of them is the Oscar Wilde quote, and the other is like it's Nicolas Cage's 2 little monologues while he's locked up. When he's like mocking the guy and says, "I take pleasure in gutting you, boy. I take pleasure in gutting you, boy. What's wrong with these people, huh, Mason? Don't you think there's a lot of anger flowing around this island, kind of a pubescent volatility? Don't you think a lot of angst, a lot of I'm 16, I'm angry at my father syndrome? I mean, grow up. We're stuck on an island with a bunch of violence for pleasure seeking psychopathic Marines. Shame on them.
Shame on them. Definitely a laugh out loud moment for me. Shame on them.
But then I have to be like, does Michael Bay get it? Like, does he understand? Does he know that he's like making fun of him and his audience?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is he saying, look at Nick Cage, he's a loser for thinking this? Or is he saying he's right? He's right.
I love it. I love those little things that he adds to this movie. Because honestly, like, I think the choices that Nicolas Cage makes in this movie make it a better movie because of it feeds into the comedy, it feeds into his character. Like, as insane as some of the line delivery and stuff is, I don't think if you put somebody in here with actual lines that he didn't come up with on the in the spot or anything, it makes it as good.
Yeah, he like when he's crazy like this and Con Air and stuff, like he's in Face Off, he molds the movie around him, which makes a retroactive recasting very difficult because the movie can be very good or very silly in a different way with a different actor, but it's impossible to imagine later without Nick Cage's impression on the movie, you know?
Yes.
Some movies like The Wicker Man, where it's like so like it's just him and everybody else is kind of normal. You can imagine that movie being better or different with him, like a different actor there. But it's just hard to imagine these action things after Nick Cage has like made it his own.
What else? Any other lines that you had from him or anybody?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to read this one.
John, I have a few. John Mason says, "Your best. Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen."
So that's Michael Bay.
But I love, he's like, my girlfriend's the prom queen.
Yeah.
And that's how he gets serious into it. I've got a lot of Stanley stuff. Look, I'm just a biochemist. Most of the time I work in a little glass jar and lead a very uneventful life. I drive a Volvo, a beige one. But what I'm dealing with here is one of the most deadly substances the earth has ever known. So what say you cut me some friggin' slack?
Some friggin' slack. He definitely does the I'm gonna deliver a line normally and fast, and then the last thing I'm gonna go like this.
But how in the name of Zeus's butthole?
That was the one I almost read, that whole paragraph. And Zeus's butthole did you get out of your cell? That's a good line.
Also, not to take away from Sean Connery, but whenever he's stealing the car in the car chase and the German guy calls him on the car phone, he says, "I'm only borrowing your Humvee."
I don't remember that. There's like funny moments like when he steals the guy's motorcycle and the guy's like, dude, 1996, dude, you had your Ferrari. He's like, it's not mine. Neither is his bike. But he pushes the guy over. And the funniest part is the guy just goes, "Wah!"
The last one I have from him is, I like history too. And maybe when this is all over, you and I could stop by the souvenir shop together. But right now, I just want to find some rockets.
Yeah. Well, you know what would be funny is like, it wouldn't be funny. That's a good option for them to make these two connect together by being nerds. Yeah. And then make it mean something. It was like, I did know that, as a matter of fact, because of this and this. This is also true about Alcatraz. And Sean Connery goes, oh, good point. Maybe there's mine carts around here somewhere. You know what I mean? Like they could have figured something out together and then kind of been like-minded in a way.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah. There's
definitely some stuff that you could retool in this movie. Biggest laugh, cry, scare, or thrill?
Let's see what we got. The only other thrill I had, because I had I think the morgue shootout sequence I liked a lot.
Yeah.
I liked when the guy fell on a fence post and
that was pretty awesome.
I think action movies are gonna be boring, then they should like have knives and eyeballs and shit like that, Like I don't want to just see people go, oh, I got shot, Like I don't care. I've seen it too many times.
Yeah. I had when Mason is captured, or when he's out of his cell and they are doing the negotiation thing and he gets that quarter and like stomps on it to make it a sharp edge and he cuts through the two-way glass and he just pokes his head through and goes, "Womack, why am I not surprised, you piece of shit?" And that's it.
That shot is so weird. That's like the weird zoom in shot and where Sean Connery looks like the Hulk. It feels like it's from a different movie. That shot, it's very memorable. But also, why did he do it?
Funny, so funny. Like, yeah. He just wanted to know who was the person behind this, and that was it. Because nothing happens.
I guess, I mean, it's supposed to tell you this guy's smart and dangerous, and like he can't be contained by the FBI because he's so smart. Then you get him doing that, and then him doing the thing with the shower, the rope in the shower wall. What is that about?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is, but it was treated like it was a normal thing. Maybe should my shower have a rope in it? Should I put one in? Is it just for?
I think it's just for,
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's.
But those are the two moments where they're like, this guy's smart. He's resourceful. You can't he's Hannibal Lecter. You can't even leave like a pen, a pencil inside his cell, or he'll find a way to break out.
They gave him everything,
But then later on, he never really does that. He's just a good shoot him up guy.
Yeah, he has they give him the quarter, they give him a pen, they give it all these things that you're like, if they know anything about this guy, they wouldn't let any of this stuff happen. They wouldn't take his cuffs off.
His plan is that he shoves his chair down on the quarter in order to bend and make the quarter sharp and jagged so that it can cut through glass, because a regular quarter wouldn't be enough to cut through glass. Yeah. And it just takes him one chance, but with a chair and a quarter on the ground, to make that thing a glass cutting tool. It's kind of strange. It's dumb.
Anything else?
It's played for laughs, and I think it's pretty funny when he goes on his whole speech at the beginning about the world being a horrible place, and I just can't imagine who would bring kids into it. And then anyway, how was your day? And she goes, I'm pregnant. Pretty good.
That whole relationship is something else too. We should get married. And he's like, no.
I guess we have to talk about with quotes and laughs when they're fucking on the patio. And she's like, do you like my pigtails? And he goes, naughty, naughty, 3 times. And then he says that she's like a cream amaretto with a peach. What was it? I think I wrote it down. Amaretto cream with a peach persuasion is what he calls her.
If a girl doesn't fall for you,
describing her pussy or her personality.
And she just found out she's pregnant. They're crushing a bottle of wine next to them.
That's true.
And she put on the lingerie.
It's got the pigtails out.
The pigtails. It's time. She's got Catholic guilt going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot with her. Good for her.
The last thing I have was a little line I didn't notice the first time. But when Nick Cage is trying to come clean, although I think it's been made pretty clear by this point that Sean Connery knows, he's like, I'm not a field agent. This is what I am. And he holds up his FBI badge that supposedly says bioterrorist, bio expert or biochemical guy. And then Sean Connery just goes, I haven't got my glasses. You can't read his FBI badge. He doesn't have his glasses. He doesn't say it like he's being sarcastic. He says it legitimate.
I cannot read that.
Yeah.
All right. Most WTF ridiculous moments.
Ooh. See, we talked about the padlock and the baby doll sarin. The people who know how to use needles being scared of needles. Oh, Ed Harris, when he's taking over the Alcatraz, specifically, I guess to get kids off of it, goes up to 2 random little girls and tells them to tell their teacher they have to go back right away. You remember that?
Yes. It's like,
is that going to work?
I mean, I don't see any children whenever they capture them, so I guess that worked.
Those 2 little girls went to their teacher and said, a strange man came up to us and said, we should go back to the shore. And the teacher goes, I've heard enough. Everybody get back on the boat.
Kids, we're out of here.
We're out of here.
How about this? I don't know if you have this down. According to this movie, John was captured in 1962, but he has information on the Kennedy assassination, which happens in 1963.
We'll get to this later.
It made me mad.
It does, and it didn't make sense to me, because then they're like, why didn't the FBI use his daughter for leverage? And then he's like, well, Hoover died in 1972 and she wasn't born yet. And I think it'll come into some trivia later. I could unlock. Okay. I think I have figured out a version in the movie and outside of the movie that makes sense.
Okay, it works. The guy we already talked about, the Navy SEAL going up after everybody on his platoon was massacred in the shower scene. I think that's insane. Like nobody would do that normally.
Yeah. I guess we talked about all of mine. I had a lot of WTS, but we've kind of mentioned them all. There's two. The crazy shot of when he tosses him the quarter.
Yes.
The crazy like Guy Ritchie like animated shot of the quarter bouncing around and landing on the floor, and no other part of the movie's like that. Wild.
What about Melvin saying, "Hey, let's be all we can be"?
Yeah.
And that is definitely an Army slogan, not a Marine slogan.
Oh yeah, he's a Marine.
Yeah, or he's a Marine or something.
Yeah.
Let's be all that we can be.
I mean, there's the added, I guess it's to help the mutiny make more sense, but there's the added complexity of like at the beginning, he's like, oh, it's my people, my boys, and then I'm teaming up with some other people.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's necessary. I mean, they could do the mutiny without that. The last one I have, which is hilarious, is the very end of the movie, almost the very end, where he gives him the note that says, this church, front pew, right leg. And Nicolas Cage reads it and then he reads it out loud and he looks up. He's like, what's this about? And Sean Connery is 100 yards away looking at him from a bridge. It's been 4 seconds.
Yeah, Alyssa's like, how did he get over there so fast?
Laugh out loud ridiculous. It's so funny.
When he injects himself in the heart with the atropine, it is not in his heart at all.
That's right. Yeah, it's not in his heart at all.
Low. It is so low. It's like in his stomach. Like that is not what you do, my guy. Also,
they made it clear twice in the movie that it has to be in the heart.
How insane is it, though, early on when we're introduced to Nicolas Cage's character, that he gets a $600 Beatles album sent to him? Yeah. And he's just like, first of all, it's because I'm a Beatle maniac.
Ugh. You're telling me you don't like music. Also, it's Meet the Beatles.
The whole point of this,
it's not like the White Album. You got Meet the Beatles for $600.
And it's just because Nicolas Cage was like, I'm really into vinyl right now. Can we put this in the movie?
Yeah. Which I guess was a little ahead of that trend in 96.
Yeah. That's good. I'm out. I don't have anything because the movie's just crazy.
Yeah, everything's insane. Yeah, me too.
Best music moment or the score. We're 2 in a row here. Hans Zimmer did the score for Broken Arrow. So Hans Zimmer's doing the score for The Rock.
The music, I was trying to pay attention to the music, and it's pretty mid. It's just like all over the place. There's like a bunch of different choices that aren't very thorough, so it makes the movie feel choppier than it already is.
It honestly feels like every Michael Bay movie score to me.
Yeah,
it's always that dun 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 dun, dun. And it feels almost like Pirates of the Caribbean. It kind of goes very similar to Pirates of the Caribbean. They all sound the same to me because when I was watching this, I was like, man, this kind of sounds like Armageddon a little bit.
Yeah.
In certain, like in the softer parts where the president is like making the hard decision to let's go ahead and bomb that island, napalm that island. So it just felt very done. I like Hans. He does a great job, and everything's a little bit is memorable. But
the music never distracted me or took me out of it. But every time I paid attention to it, it felt very run of the mill.
Yeah. All right, F, Marry, Kill time. It's going to be our 3 main characters: Mason, Hummel, and Goodspeed.
Mason, Hummel, and Goodspeed. Ooh, okay. I'm probably going to kill Hummel because he doesn't seem like a good husband. I mean, he loved his wife, I guess.
You think he killed his wife?
I don't think he noticed when she died.
He was overseas behind enemy lines.
I mean, yeah, especially that kind of soldier. Yeah, I don't want to be married to that guy. And then like he probably, I don't know. It's probably combat in the bedroom. It doesn't seem fun. Yeah, so then I guess I'm fucking Connery and then marrying Goodspeed, right?
Yeah.
I think Stanley's a good dude. I think he wants to be weird and take a little risks, but that he knows he needs like a family stability, and he's got a lot of love to give. He's a sensitive guy. He's
got hobbies, and he'll maintain those into his once he gets to his 40s and everything.
I think he'd be a good dad. I think he would love being a dad and like hanging out with a kid and showing them stuff and doing weird science experiments with them,
showing him his love for Elvis and weird Asian.
He does strike me
things
as
that
a
he's in.
guy, and like these kinds of people are annoying, but then they turn into great dads sometimes. But he really needs a captive audience,
Ooh.
and he doesn't really care who the audience is. So that kind of person sometimes gets a kid and becomes a very attentive dad, where they're like, "Oh yeah, my dad just showed me all the music he loved. He just yapped about it constantly, and he made me do science experiments. And he's like, oh, have you not seen this movie? Or we got to show you the zoo. The zoo's great, like a little kid himself, but he's going to be able to like pay attention to his kid instead of ignore it."
I like that. I think that's I think this is the right answer.
Yeah.
I almost thought about flipping Hummel and Goodspeed, just because I know that Hummel was already married. But
Yeah.
again,
He did seem to like be, he was in love
addicted
with
to
her.
his job, wouldn't be attentive around. But Mason is definitely the F in this.
And also, if I fucked Stanley and he was like naughty, I would have to Mary kill myself.
She's like, oh, pigtails. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Who gave the best performance in this movie?
I think it was Nick Cage.
I
I don't
went
think
with
Connery does anything special. You know what? He does seem like a grump. Like in a lot of, he's been in so many bad movies, and you can always kind of tell that he's kind of grumpy about it. But whether or not he was grumpy about this one, Connery is just kind of like seems pretty like he's having a good time on screen. Ed Harris might have given a better performance, but it's just I've seen it too many times.
That's the other thing. Like
not from him, but everybody,
I had Ed Harris down, and like the two main roles that I think of for Ed Harris are this movie and Apollo 13.
Apollo 13.
Yeah, and I probably should watch The Right Stuff just to see how he is in that movie.
Oh yeah, I've still never seen The Right Stuff.
Yeah, same. So these are the two iconic roles to me. He plays a good guy in one, he plays a bad guy in the other, and I'm like, I've got
They're kind of the same too.
They are kind of the same.
They're very clean cut, all serious.
Yeah,
I think Ed Harris does a good job, but I think Nick Cage is the best performance, or Ed Harris's performance is like a better version, a very good version of a lot of similar characters, and then Nick Cage is doing a Nick Cage unique thing that helps the movie elevate.
And I'm sure this movie exists out there. I want to see Ed Harris in a Bridges of Madison County-esque movie.
Oh yeah.
I think he
would something by this point. Like,
surely, right?
I would love for him to be vulnerable. If he has that, like, also that clean cut, hard ass dad, but like he's trying not to be, like with a child or something. Like he's trying to soften up or whatever. He's not a bad guy. It's just who he is. That would be good.
That's our research. We gotta find a sweet Ed Harris movie.
A nice Ed Harris.
Yeah,
I think I've seen it before. I wonder what it is.
Yeah. All right. Recasting 1996 or 2026. Do you write anything down?
Nothing great. I do think the only thing I could think of to put for Nick Cage in 96 is Jim Carrey.
Ooh, that would have been okay. I'm on board. I like that.
Especially if you can get maybe it's a little early for his like half comedy, half drama stuff. But if you can get that in there, so he's grounded. I mean, he's coming off of like his big comedy stuff, so he's probably not. He's just being silly at this point in 96. But if you can get like that 1999, 2000 version of him in this movie, he could do the Nick Cage style like comedy stuff, but also be kind of a grounded person.
Yeah.
The only person I thought would be like Will Smith, who in the same month we're going to be talking about how he does the competent soldier thing, but then is like, what does that smell? He's doing all those kinds of lines. So I can see him doing although he would want to be the tough soldier guy, I could see him doing the why is that corpse twitching line, like just as funny,
And now that you brought up Independence Day, like Goldblum.
Goldblum's right there.
Goldblum could be it too. He's a little older than Nick Cage. I thought Travolta too, just kind of basing him off of Face Off and what he's done. He might be a good Stanley or a good Hummel.
Yeah, I think you need him to. Yeah, Travolta could do a few different roles in here. Although I'm not. After this past month, I'm not. He's not. The stocks are a little lower than they were. But
no. In this household, we are full on Travolta.
Smaller than the Connery role, right?
Yeah. Anybody in 2026 you thought of?
Well, for Connery in 96, yeah, they're not good. It's like Jack Nicholson or Anthony Hopkins. An older guy who's kind of beefy.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson could deliver the lines better, and I think Anthony Hopkins could, I don't know, maybe do some of the physicality.
Yeah, because I think Anthony Hopkins is probably a little older than Ed Harris at this point, but still, like, I mean, he's in his 50s maybe and could do some of the physical stuff better. I agree with you.
Yeah, well, I kind of looked it up because this is a new way to do it for recasting. It helps for like Googling people. Seeing when Connery was born, which was like 1930.
Yeah, he's a 66-year-old man in this movie.
Right. So I was able to at least then like Google actors who were born in their 30s. And then like, these 7 years older than Hopkins is. But whether or not we think of him as that age, because he's got the white hair and everything, is a little different. But at least like that kind of narrows down like a pool of thinking about how to recast.
Man, Hopkins is that old.
Yeah, 1937 he was born.
Damn. And he's still alive. Good. I love Anthony Hopkins.
Nicholson too in the 30s.
I don't even associate Nicholson with anything anymore. He's like he's dead to me. Not because of anything, but like he just hasn't done anything in years. So
yeah,
he's
right.
Retired. Right. He's not doing anything.
Yeah, good for him too. Yeah,
absolutely. Good for him. Absolutely.
What was he doing around this time? I guess As Good as It Gets or something.
Yeah, As Good as It Gets. I think is 97, and yeah, that's pretty much it. About Schmidt comes like a little bit later.
Right.
So
in 26, these are like meme answers, but just to keep the Delroy love going, like as a train, Delroy as an older, he'd be older now, so him doing the Sean Connery role, I could like.
I mean, I love Delroy. We're big.
Yeah.
This is a Delroy pod.
Yeah, we're definitely Delroy fans here. Yeah. But I think Delroy Lindo would do a good job with the Connery role. I wouldn't be British. He doesn't have to be British or whatever.
Yeah,
that's not necessary for the plot.
No.
But he can do the old like, listen, kid, I'm done with this shit, and you don't even know how this happens or whatever. He would do all that great. And then the only person I can think of for Nick Cage, because I don't think we have a lot of good like comic actors. Or I mean, who do you do for Nick Cage? But is Daniel Radcliffe.
That would be fun.
I think he could do the comedy. I don't know that he could like pull off the action role, but
yeah, I haven't seen his action. He's got a couple action movies out there, but I haven't seen them. The only person I saw for Goodspeed for Nicolas Cage, I put Jeremy Strong, who's just like an insane actor. He's in Succession. He's like the main son in Succession. He is known for, he's going to be Mark Zuckerberg in the new Sorkin movie coming out. He's very weird, very Nicolas Cage-esque in he's going to go method and nobody gives a shit about it.
That's good to know, because I was like, man, we don't have any like weird actors anymore.
He is a weird actor.
Yeah, everybody's too pretty and on Instagram too much. Like,
yeah. The other one for Mason, I was like, hey, let's keep this Bond train rolling. Pierce Brosnan, what are you doing right now?
I was thinking about Pierce Brosnan. I was actually thinking about it in 96. I should have thought about it in 2026 because I don't hate that.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan. He's a little older though, because he's in his 70s right now. So
I liked his later, like he's kind of had a pretty fun career in the past 10 years of kind of half making fun of himself but doing weird roles and letting himself be a side character or a villain, kind of like how Hugh Grant has done recently. Has like embraced like a comical villain kind of roles and having fun with it. I love it.
I even thought about Hugh Grant and I was like, I just don't think physically he would.
I don't think so either
for it. And then I was trying to think of an actor for Hummel, and I couldn't. I was like, we don't have an Ed Harris type character.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think. There's got to be like some older Marvel cast. I'm thinking like one of the Chris's maybe. Yeah, pull it off, but they're still not as clean cut. I don't know who has that jawline.
It's interesting. Like, how does that guy who looks like he's straight out of the 1950s or 1960s, I swear Ed Harris has looked the same for 40 years.
Yeah, he really has.
And we don't have that. We've got too many other good looking, like all those people out there. We need a guy that's like, I'm the clean cut guy.
Because a while ago we had a crop of like muscly actors, but they're not quite like that. Look like that. Like Channing Tatum, I think, is a pretty versatile actor.
Yeah,
I don't know what he's been up to lately, but like he can play both. Like this is my dumb, shitty military movie, but then I can do some comedy too. But yeah, I didn't know where to fit him in on this stuff.
No idea. I don't know. Fun facts about this movie. What'd you learn?
Not a lot, but the ones that are there are pretty good. Let's see. Oh, I like this a lot. I wish I had this for like every movie, but I saw that the average shot length in this movie is 2.6 seconds. And then I noticed that in my second watch after reading that, and it's very important to this movie and it being a good movie is that like it is like this changing shots.
It keeps moving. This movie moves.
And there's a lot of stuff in the movie that is like shaky cam for no reason and like zooming in for no reason. And I don't really need any of that. I think that just the fast paced editing is really what makes it good.
Mm-hmm. The Prel shampoo was used to represent the deadly VX nerve gas in the film. So VX nerve gas, real thing, by the way.
Yeah.
I think the pesticide thing was true. I forgot what I wrote down about that. I don't have it listed here. But it's not that color anyway. But the bright green, it's Prel shampoo. That's what it is. If you need to look it up, Google it, you'll see right away how bright green it is.
That's Prel still around. I remember it from the 90s for sure.
Yeah. So that was that. And one of my favorite ones is that because I think of Ed Harris as such a stern guy, he could not stop laughing at the actor who played the tour guide. He said, "I just had the giggles that day." I can't imagine Ed Harris having the giggles.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I've got the giggles.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What else?
Tony Scott was originally supposed to direct, and I just wonder, I don't think it would be as iconic a movie.
I don't think it would be as funny.
It wouldn't be as funny, but I've learned to love, in retrospect, love Tony Scott's films a lot. And I just kind of wonder what it would be like.
Yeah.
I think it would be good in its own way.
I could see it. I could see like Man on Fire, Tony Scott doing this movie.
Yeah. Well, and I think he succeeded by both creating / like being prescient about how action movies would be shot a few years before they were shot that way. So I think him and Michael Bay both did that.
One thing I liked about the Goodspeed character is, and I obviously I think this is a Nicolas Cage choice. He only swears twice in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he kills the villains. Anytime he kills somebody, he actually says a cuss word. Every other time he's like gosh or friggin' or Zeus's butthole.
Right.
Never curses. I thought that was pretty.
He skipped saying shit one time awkwardly, just like kind of like makes a like pause where shit would be. I like Michael Bay turned down this movie 6 months earlier, but before accepting it, and by saying just the story wasn't serious enough for him.
And then he made this movie.
And then he made it. Yeah, he was like, you know what? Maybe it's serious enough for me after all. I am Michael Bay.
Did you have the part about Nicolas Cage being so proud of his body that he wanted to make sure that he was on the screen shirtless or at least or naked?
Yeah, well, Michael Bay said that about him, and then he denied that and said, "No, I just thought it made it clear that he was at home."
Yeah, he's at home. No, come on.
There's a lot of stuff that's like, he said, she said, but like I never like knew much about Michael Bay, and I don't know, I probably have a snobby chip on my shoulder against him, but there's a lot of trivia that popped up of just maybe him being a dick around set.
Well, I saw other things that were like Michael Biehn and Ed Harris were like, no, Michael Bay was great to shoot with. He's like easy compared to James Cameron, who's a big asshole on set.
Yes. Michael Bay heard from James Cameron that crew members, not cast, crew members had compared them, saying they're similar. Jerry Bruckheimer says Cameron's a total asshole when he's working. And Bruckheimer asked Michael Bay why he would want to be like him. That's not a plant you could eat, baby. Stop. I'm sorry. That's a cat, not a human. And then for some reason, he says, I guess Bruckheimer is saying this. For some reason, Bay liked the image of being a tough guy, the guy with the whip, the yeller and the screamer. But Michael's a good guy. He's so obviously a sweet guy at heart. But then he says, talk to the crew. They'll give you another story. But as for the actors are concerned, they never had a hard time with him. So I was like, so he just like yells at people who aren't more famous than him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess he is a sweet guy.
Gee whiz. What else? I've got a couple more, but
well, there's two big ones. The two best ones. The first being, well, you go.
Body count 25.
Yeah, I thought about that and I was like, well, that's not true. But then I didn't realize at first that they the people at the beginning were just like
they did not get killed. Yeah.
Yeah. Not a huge body count.
Not a huge body count. Yeah, compared. And Michael Bay's idea for a sequel involves a now married Goodspeed in possession of the microfilm evidence who finds himself pursued by the government with nowhere else to turn. He's forced to ask Mason for help. I'd watch that movie.
Yeah, and it does set that up, right? Like he goes and looks at it. Now he's on the run, and then no, that makes sense.
It's almost, National Treasure-esque.
I think it would inevitably be worse. Mostly because the not flashy, but the stone heart of the movie is that this is the Rock. It's the Alcatraz.
Right.
Everybody's got to be on this island and they have to find their way around each other. So being on the run makes that a little tough. You'd have to find something to do that's as interesting with that. But I would watch it for sure.
Yeah. What else?
So famously, tragically, this movie was involved in the invasion of Iraq. Apparently, the UK got reports from an agent about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and that were shown to Tony Blair and were used as a justification for the UK entering on the side of the US and invading Iraq. It came out before the invasion happened that this was an agent who was lying to get out of some kind of trouble, and that most of his lies were based on seeing the Rock, and that he just described missiles that he saw in the Rock. And they figured that out, that he was lying before the invasion happened, but they didn't inform Tony Blair and 10 Downing Street. So once again, millions of people died for incompetent and evil governments and Michael Bay.
Incredible.
And then later on, people were like, if an expert looked at that, they would know that that's not real. Like, that's not how that works.
Yeah.
But I guess an expert never did look at it, probably because they didn't care or want to. They just needed a scapegoat or, an excuse. But that sucks. That's what happened.
Wow. The Rock. Thanks. Thanks for everything. Thanks for The Rock. Iraq. Thanks, The Rock.
A Rock. The Rock. There's The Rock and A Rock. In between A Rock and The Rock.
Quentin Tarantino was an uncredited screenwriter on this movie, along with Jonathan Hensley, who wrote the shooting script, and Aaron Sorkin. So,
yeah, there was some stuff about how the WGA wouldn't give him credit, and that was a really fucked up thing. But then I don't know why the WGA wouldn't give him credit, except that he hadn't paid his dues or something. And they're like, "Look, we got a union for a reason. Get fucked."
Well, Tarantino screwed his best friend out of Pulp Fiction screenwriting credits. So,
oh really?
Yeah, it's insane.
Well, it wasn't Quentin Tarantino not getting credit. It was some other guy who apparently wrote most of the movie. It was a huge part of writing it, but then wasn't allowed to get screen credit.
Anything else?
There's a lot of hands in this movie. I think I read a lot about this movie not being fully scripted when shooting happened. That it was a lot of improv and fly by the seat of your pants. Like, let's do improv dialogue, and I don't know, what if they went here? Let's just shoot something here, and then we'll put it in somewhere. Which is surprising because it is a sloppy movie with plot holes, but it feels tighter than just being made up on the spot.
Especially with the dialogue. Like, I saw that much of Nicolas Cage's dialogue was ad-libbed. I wonder how much of that is.
I saw other directors and actors turned it down. Like Schwarzenegger was supposed to play the Nicolas Cage role.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah. But he turned it down because he was like, there wasn't really a script. And he was like, now I regret it. I'm like, well, I bet he regrets not being in The Rock, but also I don't think he regrets making a bad decision because someone just brings half a script and a guy who's made one movie. Like, why would you jump on board with that? And
Ed Harris almost turned it down because he felt like they were too sympathetic towards his character.
Oh yeah. I think they worked out a lot of his character while they were shooting. So.
Yeah. Super interesting. Did you have another one? You said that was a big one?
Well, the big one is there's a popular internet theory, and I watched an 18-minute video about it. A very popular internet theory that this Sean Connery is actually the Sean Connery from James Bond. That this is actually James Bond. And although that's not canon, there's pretty good online arguments for it that literally come down to the years that are stated in this movie versus James Bond. So in that theory, 1962 is when Dr. No happens. And then right after, at the end of Dr. No, some U.S. Marines save him, but they don't know that he's like a British spy that saved everybody yet.
Mhm.
And so then they think that's when he got first put into Alcatraz and escaped. And then it is mentioned very briefly in The Rock that he escaped 6 months later.
Okay.
So his first 1962, even within The Rock, his first 1962 imprisonment was not for the microfilm thing. So that must have come later, which is how the JFK thing makes sense and the daughter thing makes sense more. But the last movie he was in, they're ignoring the was it Never Say Never Again, because that's not canon. That's not an Eon film. So they're ignoring that one. So his last one would be Diamonds Are Forever, which ended in 1972 and happened in America. And then there's a lot of fun things. Blofeld talks about how like you can hide anything in Kansas at one point to James Bond because nobody's going to notice it forever. And that's where he ends up hiding the microfilm. What else is there? Oh, in From Russia with Love, like there's a mention of like, oh, James Bond, you disappeared for 6 months. And that could have been the 6 months he was in Alcatraz in between those two movies. And then there's like some stuff about him claiming to be Army and not Navy. And that like destroying the theory because James Bond was a sailor before he was special services.
Right.
But but there's pretty convoluted, but believable enough like theories about that. About him being in Hong Kong, which is canon to James Bond around the same time Ed Harris was. And so he's like lying to make sure he doesn't like recognized as that, that 007 agent. It's really fun. If you look into that theory, there's pretty good. It's funny how the movies and real world events and The Rock all like line up pretty well for that theory.
I like to think that James Bond, The Rock, and Renaissance Man all take place in the same universe.
In the same universe? Absolutely.
Poor Melvin, though.
Yeah, he was too dumb to give a gun. That was kind of the point of that movie.
Remember when he read that letter about his stepdad beating his brothers? Oh,
yeah,
that's sad, and that's what turned him. And that's what turned him.
Shakespeare couldn't save him.
Well, like a fine wine and dish, if you could pair this movie with another movie for a double feature, what would you choose? Obviously,
pretty obvious ones we've already mentioned. I think Die Hard with a Vengeance would be good.
Mm-hmm.
The best Mission Impossible movie, I think, is maybe Fallout, and that's a very much of an infiltration movie. So I like that. And then the Raid is also an infiltration movie.
Wow, The Raid.
Yeah,
I love The Raid.
Yeah, The Raid's good. But that was the best I could do. I mean, I was thinking of like prison escape movies, which again I realized this isn't one. So it's like Stalag 17 or The Great Escape and Escape from Alcatraz.
Shawshank.
Yeah. Birdman of Alcatraz. I don't know. It's not thematically the same, but it's an Alcatraz movie.
I put this movie and Armageddon feel so similar to me. Obviously, they're crazy, like different in their plot devices, but there are so many things in here. Like even the scene where Nicolas Cage's fiance or whatever she is at the time is like there's like a slow moment, like they're about to bomb that island. It feels very much like Liv Tyler at the end of Armageddon and her being sad about her dad or Ben Affleck or whoever the fuck she's supposed to be sad about at that point. Very similar. Those two movies I think are the closest. I put Con Air on here too.
Con Air and Face Off we mentioned, and they feel like good pairs.
Yeah. Die Hard I put on here because this one was said Die Hard. This is a series of movies in the 90s that everybody says this is Die Hard on this. Die Hard Die Hard on a bus. This is Die Hard.
That against all odds, like underdog infiltration aspect is so key to the movie. And I'm sure if I had a better like action movie lexicon, there's like some deep cuts that would be really good to pair with this.
And this is the better version of Broken Arrow too.
Yeah, it also is. Yeah, a rogue military guy with rockets, blackmailing the government.
Mm-hmm. On a scale of 1 to 5, how likely are you to throw this one on again?
I put it at a 4.
I gave it 5 stars.
I get that. Yeah,
I love this movie. I was so surprised how much I really loved this movie.
It won me over as a skeptic, and I enjoyed watching it the second time, and I could see putting it on again for sure. Yeah. But it's not for me. That's how good of a movie it is that it got a 4 out of me. As a person who's probably not suited to love it.
Yeah. And overall, what'd you give it?
3.5.
Nice. I give it 4.
Yeah.
Yes, we've already poked holes in everything that we could, but it's still so freaking entertaining that I can't give it anything below that. So
yeah, we should have taken time, or I should have taken time to see who the editor was or editing team and see if they worked with Michael Bay in other movies, because I think the editor is the star here. I think it makes all the sloppiness and repetitiveness at times and a very long runtime. It makes all of that work.
The editor is Richard Francis Bruce, and he is known for editing such movies as Seven, Shawshank Redemption, Harry Potter, the first one, Green Mile. Let's see what else. Perfect Storm, Air Force One. Doesn't look like he did other Michael Bay movies.
Well, I'll say that those are all over the place too. A lot of those are slow burns.
Yeah. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess like 2.6 seconds per shot. I mean, Michael Bay was probably in there with them, and he knew what the assignment was and knocked it out of the park. So, but I'm sure that's part of being a great editor, is not having directors can have like two signature vibes, tricks or whatever. But I think an editor has to be versatile and like a music producer does, and like meet the track where it is.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for hanging out and talking The Rock with talk. We're doing The Rock talk every week here.
Rock talk.
Before we wrap up, you got any movie recommendations that you've seen over the last, since we've seen you last?
I got two of them that I mentioned in the Discord. But I've recently been going through a list of 52 Slash movies, rewinds that I missed in the past. And so I want to have seen every 52 Slash movie. So I was looking at the ones I never got around to watching and found two I had never heard of, had no concept of existing, and thought were really, really good watches that I enjoyed a lot. And that's Summersby with Richard Gere as a Civil War soldier that comes home and is maybe not who he says he is. Not a perfect movie, but one I had no expectations from.
I had never heard of that movie. Yeah.
Never heard of it. I'm surprised I never heard of it. Jodie Foster's there. It's surprisingly only like 90 minutes, but I thought it was really fun. And there was a lot of cool moments in it. And it was shot well. And the other one was In the Name of the Father, starring Daniel Day-Lewis, about a true story I didn't know about the IRA era in Ireland and UK. And it was just absolutely brilliant. And I had no idea that movie existed.
Yeah, so In the Name of the Father's really good. And that's a movie where I don't know why I'm always trying to like find a hole in what's his face? The actor.
Oh, Day-Lewis. Like
Daniel Day-Lewis. I'm like trying to find something that he's bad in, and it's not possible, I think. That movie's really good. I think the Pete Postlethwaite is really good.
I love Pete Postlethwaite, so and I've always been like, why doesn't he have a role like that's beefier? And then here it was the whole time sitting there. So
he's great. He's so good. Those are good ones. Summersby's very early 52 Slash, and I think that one's the end of the first year of 52 Slash.
Yeah, so. I just found the ones I had missed off of your letterbox. Plugs to your letterbox. Plugs to our Discord.
Exactly.
Plugs to past 52 Slash. It's been 3 years. Go on a rewind. Go check out your old favorites. I can go watch these episodes now and see what you guys thought about Summersby. And
they're on Spotify. They're on YouTube. Go check out some of those old episodes. The only movies I've been watching that I have any praise for is again, we're kind of keeping the John Travolta thing going in our household here. So we watched Hairspray this last week.
A good Travolta movie.
Great musical, great Travolta.
A good palate cleanser after last night.
Oh my gosh. Then I watched UHF this week, which I watch that probably every year. It's been
a long time. Is Travolta in that?
No, he's not in that movie. But we watched Perfect last night, which is Jamie Lee Curtis and John Travolta just being two hot individuals. This movie is a mess, is not great. It's all over the place, but like Jamie Lee Curtis at her hottest and like John Travolta also at his hottest, like just thrusting. There are exercise scenes in this movie that last for 5 minutes, just music and them just thrusting.
Well, that makes sense because even if they were fucking, they both would like fuck on screen like dancers. Like,
oh my god,
it'd be like body roll thrust for sure.
It was crazy. Perfect is a wild movie. It's on Tubi for all those Tubi heads out there. That's what I've been watching. And like Ryan said, if you want to talk about the movies that you're watching, join us on Discord, follow us on Instagram to find out when we're going to be doing the next one. We usually do these every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern, but sometimes that schedule changes. And then, of course, check out the Letterboxd for reviews and past lists that we have from the 52 universe to see what we've been watching as well. We're going to continue this theme of Make It a Blockbuster Night, where every movie is a big budget film from 1996. And in honor of the 250th anniversary of this country, we're going to be watching Independence Day next week. So hopefully, salute that. It's going to be great. But we'll see you next Sunday, at 5 p.m. So thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time on 52/1996. Hit them with it.
Be nice to women.
Hell yeah.
We spun the reel through desert storms and courtroom cries. Love letters burned, planes went down, truth hid behind the lies. From snowbound crimes in Fargo streets to agents running wires, we laughed with Gilmore, screamed in masks lit, theaters on fire. It's 52/1996, let the credits roll tonight. Good movies, bad movies, all of them in the same rewind. 1 year, 1 week, every frame gets its time to shine. We'll see you next story on 52/1996.